behind. Okay, first, so now I've got my design traced onto my triangle here.
Make sure you
and you'll notice I traced it on with Sharpie so that I can see it on both sides when I want to do a reflection, which we'll talk about.
I'm going to take my pencil,
and I want to point out
just
that on the bottom here, I wanted this to look like a
lightly.
circle all the way around my middle.
And not
So to make sure that that would look like a circle, I had to use a compass,
because this is
okay,
where I'm
to make
actually
that
going to be doing my painting.
line. So if I made my own arch, it might not look like a circle.
Very evident afterwards.
So I just lined up this point with the very corner and then made a little line that would be part of a circle. Okay, traced it with the Sharpie. So now I've got my color wheel cut out. My two halves are fitting together well. So I'm going to take my piece and I need to line it up behind the first triangle that I'm going to start on.
And you want to do this carefully.
Make sure you get it lined up. Now, if you're following these boundaries that you could see, and then you need to draw those in.
Pencil at this
and
point.
I just want to trace a part of your design in some places.
You also need to remember to draw it in. So like from
and
here
not
to here.
Scratchily.
Because the big color wheel that we are working on,
because this is where I'm actually
have
going to
those
do
in
my
there.
painting.
I don't really want these
just in case we don't want to
be
follow
very
those
evident
boundaries. We don't want
afterwards.
those lines showing up in the end. So you're responsible for either tracing those in or not tracing those in, depending on if you want them. Okay, so I've got it traced on there once. Now, what you'll notice about my design is that it's almost symmetrical, but it's not. Boundaries, like this petal up here is taller than this one over here. You need to draw those. And I kind of wanted that at this point throughout, if they're just a part of your design. But I want that to reflect as it goes, so that everything lines up along these divider lines.
The big color wheel that we are working on.
If you have a design that's perfectly symmetrical,
just in case
you could just pick it up and go to the next one. Or if you don't want it to reflect, you can also do that. Just keep it face up the whole time. If you want your design to reflect as it goes around, what you need to do is rotate your triangle each time. So now I'm going to rotate it or flip it over and line it up for this one. So I've got it traced on there once. Now, what you'll notice about my design is that it's almost symmetrical, but it's not. Like this petal up here is taller than this one over here. And I kind of wanted that variety throughout. But I want that to reflect as it goes so that everything lines up along these divider lines. So if you have a design that's perfectly symmetrical, you could just pick it up and go to the next one. Or if you don't want it to reflect, you can also do that. Just keep it face up the whole time. If you want your design to reflect as it goes around, what you need to do is rotate your triangle each time. So now I'm going to rotate it or flip it over and line it up for this one. Get it fitting in there perfectly. And what you'll notice about doing that is that all these lines now should perfectly match up. Okay, so now going to my next one, I need to make sure to flip this over again. So I'm back to the front now, line it up, and trace it again. So every time I'm going to flip that over so it continues to reflect. And pay close attention when you're in the divide that from what you trace this one, it gets reflected here. And so on and so forth all the way around. Okay, once you get it all traced on there, you're going to want to push your circles together and make sure that everything lines up the way you want it, especially between the two and between each section, because now's your chance that you can fix it if something's not lining up. So I'm just gonna, like here, make sure that's lining up. That lines up pretty good here. Here I want to fix this one a little bit. And like for instance, my circle in the middle, didn't turn out great. What I could actually do is use my compass to do this whole circle, and then it'll turn out much better. Okay, so I've made sure that everything lines up in between each one. Fixed it where it doesn't look quite like I wanted it to. And then I'll be ready to move on to painting.